Emily will be here for about 1 hour. She's basically just laying there for the most part, trying to be very still. She has eaten 2 hours before coming in as a prep. We have the patient change into a gown from the waist up. Typically we ask them to wear loose clothing, so now Emily's going to change into her gown and get prepped. Alright, so next we're going to open up the EGG program. Before the patient comes in, we like to have the program set up with patient info, diagnosis, and the reason they're having the procedure. The prep typically takes about less than 5 minutes, as long as you have all your information. Next, you're going to enter the patient info, first name, last name, date of birth. You can go as far as adding the address, phone number, anything you want. For research purposes, you will have a reference number. Next, we're going to hit continue. So the next screen is a pre-study screen, and it's basically a way to select the reason that the patient is here and what their diagnosis is. You can check vomiting, nausea, gastroparesis. You can add any additional notes that you'd like to add for the doctor. Also, you're going to add the attending physician, the referring physician, and the tech. And then you're just going to hit begin study. The patient typically comes in with loose clothing. They are told not to wear any perfumes or lotions, and we can now put the equipment on. Alright, first and foremost, we start with the respiratory belt. So I'm going to instruct the patient to stand up and turn with your back to me. You're going to lift up your arms, and we're going to put this belt around her on top of the gown, right over her chest. We want to make sure the belt is snug. If you can turn around, so we can see there isn't very much space here. It's very snug, but not uncomfortable. Next step, which is super important, is skin prep. So I'm just going to begin to recline. Next, we're going to prep the abdominal area. We want to start with some gauze, and we're going to sort of rough up the area and gently abrade. So I just rub it here and make sure there isn't any excess oils or anything left behind on the area. Just want to make sure it's good and dry. Okay, next we're going to place the leads. So I've got 3 wires here, and we're going to attach our pads. So now that we've got our 3 leads, we can place them. I typically begin with the middle lead, which is marked with an M, and it's also color coordinated in green. So we're going to start with the middle pad here. We're going to look for our landmark, which is the xiphoid process here. We're going to measure about 2 finger lengths down, right above the belly button, and we're going to place the lead. Next we have the flap just below the last rib. You're going to feel for the rib here, 2 finger lengths down, and about mid-clavicle. Just like that. Lastly, the red one, which is the left. Same placement, but on the left side. We're going to feel for the rib, 2 finger lengths down, mid-clavicle, and place the lead. That's it for that. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and secure the wires into our module. So we've got everything color coordinated here. We've got our black lead, which plugs in to the black. Got our green to green, and our red to red. Next, we're going to connect our respiratory belt to the module, just like so, just like a phone cord. Lastly, lastly, we are going to connect the computer to the module. Next, we're going to place the module in a secure place where it's flat and it won't be disturbed. Right, we're going to have the patient remain very still as a reminder to keep her arms at her sides and her legs uncrossed. Breathe normally and just try not to move. Next, we can begin the baseline. Once you've entered all your necessary information, you can begin the baseline by selecting Begin Study. Okay, so next we're going to begin the equipment test by selecting Start Equipment Test. But what we need to do is wait for this to turn green, and it's typically 2 minutes. Alright, the lights have turned green, which indicates we have a good signal. Next we can begin the baseline by selecting Begin Baseline. Alright, very important for the patient to remain as still as possible, breathing normally, not talking. Any sudden movements could potentially cause an artifact on the study. A deviation in the signal, like here, there's a few things you want to do. First, you want to make sure the patient hasn't moved. If the patient has remained completely still, you want to try to adjust the equipment. You may want to replace the leads. You may want to make sure that everything is plugged in properly into the module as well as into the computer. And you just want to make sure you have at least 4 good minutes of signal without a deviation or artifact. Next, we're going to have the patient drink water. She's going to fill up until she feels full. And we are going to measure the amount of water she drinks with a measuring cup. So the patient is just drinking, room temperature water steadily until she feels full. We're going to put Emily back down. And she's going to get back in position with her hands at her sides, legs uncrossed. And we're going to begin the study. Okay, we've recorded the amount of water she drank, and now we can input it into the program by selecting water load. Emily drank about 40 ounces, so we're going to go ahead and input that information in. So we're going to go ahead and count how many times she breathes per minute, just by counting. And we're going to go ahead and input it. While the test is running, we're going to try to make the environment as comfortable and quiet as possible for the patient. The test takes 30 minutes. Now that the test is complete, we can either select Finish to end the test, or we can extend it out for 10 more minutes if we've noticed artifacts. Now you're going to select Finish, or selecting File and Save. Right, now that the test is complete, we can remove the equipment from the patient. This concludes our study.